Hey guys and gals, Will here, Willderjess Adventures. As you can see, we're working on the van. But what we are working on, thankfully, so glad and so proud to be, is the solar panels. Ready to get these things on top. We can, continue along with this process. Okay guys, we're here on top of the van. As we can see, we got a piece of 80/20 lightly laid up here, in which we have to get our mounting holes uncovered to get to our threaded bolt insert that's under the hole here, which, depending on the length van you have, depends on how many actual mounting holes you have. If you get up here and look, you have several of these white little vinyl disc covers that are covering different holes, but essentially the ones you're looking for are these ones with the square cutout part here that's flat. And on the medium length, and there's 4 of these. The short one, the shortest length transit has 3, the medium length has 4, and then the long one has 5. But so we get one here, and then back. But when you get up here and you get them covered, I already pulled this one off yesterday, but I mean, I had, something that's not going to damage the paint, and you can get up here and you just got to keep working with it a little bit. But what everybody seems to find, in which when you do this, you're going to have some that the hole is not quite lined up. See, our threaded insert in here in the hole is not centered, so bolt's not going to be able to get started in there. Did a little quick research is what everybody else is kind of doing, so relay that along, and just getting some good old 10 snips and kind of expanding the hole seems to work sufficiently, because all we need to do is just get it to be able to get our bolt in there, and as long as we don't have anything sticking up or some extra slag, we can get all that cut off. It'll work just fine. Alright, well, got some more pliers and stuff, get it worked out, but I've also found that one tip here is having a magnet around definitely helps out with a van, and getting little pieces up that you don't want. So let's see if the bolt will go in there. You gotta, you always want to check your threads here. Some of them do have some paint that got oversprayed down into them, and also there's also a bolt depth that I read somewhere that it only goes in a 1/2 inch, so it may go in more than that. These are 2-inch bolts, because I got considering what I'm putting up here, but I bet it goes in more than a 1/2 inch. And these are the thread on these is these are metric bolts and metric threads. Everything in the van's all metric, but these are M8 by 125, and like I say, these are, again, when you're buying a metric bolt and you're buying metric length bolt, so this is a 50mm length bolt, and which, like I say, I'm gonna have a spacer, some plastic I'm gonna cut, in which I found that this is pretty much a 5-degree slope here, so we'll cut a 5-degree angle on one side, so this, our 80/20 will sit flat, and then we can sit this here, and with their little angle iron pieces that come with 80/20 products, we can bolt this thing to it, and then we can have our support for 80/20 here. So we'll get the rest of these pulled off, and hopefully they're all pretty easy and accessible. I bought this, this is, I think it's PVC or either ABS, HDPE plastic, one of the two. But anyway, off of Amazon, this was it's 1 inch thick. It's a 12 by 11 inch sheet. I think it was like $15 or something like that. I'll link in the description. And what I'm doing here is I've cut it to 5-inch pieces. I got 2 of them, and then got my holes already cut. And if what I found through reading some stuff and forums and whatnot is about a 5-degree angle, works real good, which I've got my mock-up block, oops, sorry, that I've created. You can see it's got the angle on the top, in which when you lay it on the van, because the van, on the edges has, it's rounded a little, so once it's laying there, this sits flat. So that's what I'm doing with this plastic. So it's, plastic, never going to rot, not have any issues with it. Plus it's super flat. But anyway, we'll sit y'all down and let you check this part out. And so if anyone else wants to kind of go this route, definitely, we'll definitely put all the information in the blog and the video here on how I'm doing it. Because I mean the details as far as how people in terms of videos on YouTube is limited with 80/20 and how they put it up there. I mean, they've found a few, but what I'm doing here seems to be like a pretty easy setup, which I'll show y'all later as we're going, how I'm framing it in on the solar panels here, in which it'd say just to construct the frame. And then we got some tower mounts. You can see here on these, this one's upside down, and it'll go across the van perpendicularly, which in between the two fans up on the roof. So wish us luck, and here we go. Woo! That's rough. Oh man. That's a tough cut there, that plastic. Earplugs, William. Earplugs. That plastic though, it goes everywhere. That stuff cuts it. They cut it good, but dang, you can see. You got a good angle on it, cut it pretty good. We'll be able to cut this into fourths. That's why I already drilled the holes. That's why I already had drilled the holes in it. We section it up for the 4 on one side. So then this will sit level on top of the van. So stay tuned to get this thing cut. A little rough. Alright, well, I'll demonstrate here how I'm actually attaching it to the top of the van, which we saw I cut these angled blocks out of this plastic chunk, which it was 1 inch thick plastic. Put about a 5.5 degree bevel angle, whatever, on one side. And so the 80/20, they produce these angle brackets. This is for the 1.5 series, so you have to get it for each series that you need so the hole lines up. But it's simply, they also are these slotted nuts and bolts that it screws in, then it fits into the slot here. It bites on itself when you tighten it down. So we got our angle pieces that are going to go into here, into the rail, and then as you mount to the top of the van, this will sit on top of the van. So we'll get that, show you a little bit more when we get on top of it. Solar panels, we're going to encapsulate with 80/20. I wish it hadn't gotten so dark on me so quick, but that's the way it goes when the sun goes down. But we got the 80/20 rails up on the roof on each side. We got our dimensions. I got me a little plan chart here laid out, which all this is going to be linked in, my how-to, the build process of this roof rack. As you can see, we got our power brackets. So if you're looking at this would say be the head of the van, the front of the van. which we got the rails that go down each side. And then these are going to be the cross member bars that go across the tower brackets are sitting on. So each tower bracket, 4 will be on each side. I wish I should have. This here area is the solar panels, which we got the fans, the front and the back, and it fits just perfect between those fans. They have clearance to open and move and are ready, you know, no interference. But doing this though, the solar panels have to sit on the 80/20. You know, I don't foresee it being a problem. Hopefully it's not. The only thing is, you know, possibly wind noise, which, you know, we have make some air dams or some kind of way to, you know, combat that when we cross that bridge. But with putting in the 2 fans where we did in the front and the back, it created a limiting factor with the distance where we could put it. But having with these 2 panels, you know, this makes sense where we can change it later if we need to, and could put them long ways, you know, down each side if we wanted to add more. And, you know, but with doing these 2, then you can, you know, locate the hole center, for the center of the hole, you know, in the middle for the van, where the wires to come through. So what we got now is cutting out our perimeter pieces. Gotten the width where we put our cross member bars up there on top of the van and locked it down, and got the width. So each cross member bar is 51 5/16 from tower bracket in. And see, these go in, this would sit like this, and the 80/20 sitting here, in which, here's this one. See, these go into the 80/20 from the underneath. It sits here, and so the 80/20 butts to right here, and I'll let it explain more. But then you put a bolt in right here, and that locks it laterally into these brackets as it goes across and sets its position. So we found that that's 51 inches and 5/16, in which when you the 2 solar panels here, they are together 39 and 5/16 wide and 42 inches and 3/8. So we'll get our crossbar cut that's here, that's 36 and 5/16, that goes in between the cross members, and bolt it all together, get it slapped on, and then it'll be there. Which we're going to take, we got these 80/20 nut fitter adapters, which, you know, I found all you need is a 5/16 carriage bolt. So you can just buy a pile of stainless 5/16 carriage bolts and get around having to buy the 80/20 products. But you see here, this slides in the 80/20, and then we got, you know, a bag of bolts here that then we'll take and put the bolt. You know, we'll have already got our holes here that we'll be able to just, I'll probably put another one in the middle. What I'm doing to bolt them on to this is using the carriage bolt. So we'll put this through here with the nut on the bottom, and then this will stick up, so you slide the 80/20 on to the bolts as they're sticking up, and then you'll be able to get a wrench down here to tighten this up, you know, and get a good hard solid fasten. You know, this is only like an inch, not even. Where's the dang caliper gauge? So let's see, real time here. Let's get it a little bit longer. So it's just over an inch. It's like an inch and an eighth in this gap right here, you can see. So you're not getting anything in here to tighten with very well, except for a box end wrench, which you open in. But, you know, so we take the carriage bolt here. It's got the square head that fits perfectly in the 80/20 slot. You see, it's very little play. Stainless bolt, get them at Lowe's. But we get this thing bolted together, and then pretty much, you know, we'll have to clean and get all our mounting locations cleaned and ready to seal up. And we have our lap sealant and all, which will, you know, for the holes that are up there on top of the van, and seal all that in. Get the rails glued down, you know, bolted, fastened, ready to go. Pretty much then just have to drill a hole in it for the electrical panel box. Excuse me, the wires from the solar panels that will go out to the electrical system, and then grommet it and seal and put lap sealing on that, and then that'll have it. We have this thing up there, be able to get the rest of these, be able to get these beautiful things installed in that van. So y'all bear with me. We're gonna cut our first cut on this 80/20. I haven't ever cut any aluminum of this stature, so we're definitely triple checked their cut length, and we got it marked, which we got a carbide tip 60 tooth aluminum cutting blade. And from what I understand, when you cut aluminum, you just go really slow, take it easy, don't let it get hot, which aluminum is finicky about getting hot. But let the blade cut, and then once you get it cut, let the blade completely come to a stop. Well, dang, that was very not dramatic. That's awesome. It cut really good. Check our measurement. Make it well and stupid noise. Here, hitting everything. Let's see, 51 and 5/16. Jam up. Focus on. There we go. So the cool part is that cut is what goes across. See, this 51 and 5/16 goes across the van, goes this way, and then this left over has enough which to go in here. So we only have, we're saving boards, whatever, 80/20 pieces, being able to maximize the most out of one. So it's awesome. All right, we got some cuts made. This is very anticlimactic. Not that I'm complaining, but it just cuts like, geez, look at that. 36 5/16. You can flip it each corner, and it cuts square, cuts good. 36 5/16. So this go here. Such a one-handed quick movement. Sorry, y'all. Forget I'm holding the camera sometimes. This squeeze together, squeeze, and then that'll hold that. In which we got these 90 bracket internal connectors that screw in with the Allen key. So they will go in here. So which we'll slide this on, mount it, then we'll be able to slide our rails down each side, then screw the corner pieces and connect those, and have her in there. So we can see here, putting in carriage bolts, which in these existing holes in the side of the solar panel, which a carriage bolt simply is a bolt that the top of it has the square head and the flat surface. But so we're getting these put in. We got regular washer, lock washer, and the standard nut, which this is all stainless. Just mark it up now. This way. There. This is the age in you. Alright, see, so there, with the nut on the bottom, we can tighten it with a wrench, and then the square head tightens itself down in the track. See, we got this side already on. We'll be able to slide it. See, carriage bolt hooked up. A little finicky getting it lined up, but just got to move it around, leave everything loose. Number one rule of doing anything, leave it loose till you're ready to tighten it. Ain't no way I'm gonna be able to get that. Move y'all one more time. What we got now, see we got this back one on, getting these slid on, kind of marking it up. But what we got are these corner internal brackets, which you got these set screws in each one. So it simply slides in the end here, and which it'll slide in the end of that one. So then we can slide this one across. And then this one, we can get this guy lined up. Just like this. And voila, we are hooked up. We gotta put this one in this side. Stick this one in. Oh, we got it. So now they'll be able to, so the tower brackets will slide in here. And then that will be, so we're upside down. And this bolts to the top. Pretty much there. Just got to get all these tightened down. And need to decide if I want to put something in the middle between these two. See how structurally rigid it is. I got 4 in each side. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, So I mean, lock washers and everything. And which you got the corner pieces, so it shouldn't shift or move any. So hopefully it's pretty sturdy. And we'll get it flipped over. Got it all bolted down. Got to still tighten the little corner pieces, but you can see how they fit in there. Snug as a bug. Got it bolted tight. So we can flip it over. It's not the lightest thing, we'll say. Alright, we are pretty much ready to get it glued in, trying to get it done here before we run out of light. But anyway, I think I got it pretty well laid out. We got a CR 8020 here, in which all of the L brackets are positioned where they need to be. This lap sealant got off Amazon. It's some bad stuff, which it's pretty forgiving when you put it. It has takes its time and it seeps in and fills all the cracks, and so it's self-leveling essentially. So you can put it where you want and then kind of move stuff around and get it put in. So what I'm doing here is we'll take the bottom side of the block in the area, make sure we're good and clean. We got all the residue off from the little covering discs that were here. Plastic block here is good and flat, which we're going to just put a little light bead around this. Not too much, get a little heavy here. And then essentially coming out here in the approximate perimeter of the block. And then I did a little bead on the actual block here. say, this stuff, it will seep and expand to where it needs to go to get us a good seal. Definitely gotta pay attention to where you stick it. So we're just gonna go down to about where our hole is and stick that there for now, and then we'll do the other 4 or 3, and then we'll come back and show gluing the angle pieces, and then we'll get it stuck on. Alright, we got those somewhat put in place. Now going to put us some lap sealant on this these L brackets, in which then all we need to do is, you know, get them all flipped over and put in place, in which we're using, like I said, just a regular flat washer, lock washer, and the bolts. So again, I ain't putting very much on here. Okay, so it got that smeared on real quick, and then now we'll try to flip it over. Naturally, I put you in the way. Bolt, lock washer, flat washer. I'm not getting them show enough John Henry tight, but we'll just get them good and snug right now, just so it squeezes the block good, has a good sealing contact. Okay, we got our brackets for the tower to go across the top of the van, with the setup that we got with the height of the 1.5 inches. You see this right here will sit, the rail will be right here. So this will be going, you'll have a fan here, fan here. This will be going across the top of the van. So the tower brackets, again, a little bit linked in the description, from Amazon, which they have a little L bracket that goes in the slot here. I think here's the bracket. It goes in the slot, bolts through the hole here, and then bolts through here. So then that locates and, you know, makes sure it makes everything locked in place. So get this back out. So to do that though, this hole that comes in the middle of all the 80/20, which you can order it from them already pre-tapped, which, you know, it don't take but a second to tap something, you know, and you just, from local any hardware store, you get your 5/16 by 18 bit tap, in which, you know, if you do not have an existing hole, you need to drill it out with the bit, you know, that's for a 5/16 tap. But anyway, so you want to tap this hole out, which I found I just did one to, you know, get it started, so I can have a little learning curve with it. And it, you know, it's easy to do, but these slots make it a little difficult, because you don't have an exact hole that you're spinning, in which you see the tap, it's fluted, so it, you know, clears the debris as it screws in. So which you pretty much have to do it on a drill, I found, because of the, you know, it binds as you try to screw it in with any other method, you know, a wrench, or, you know, putting it in an actual tap collet and screwing it in. So doing it real slow in the drill works. You just have to take your time and make sure it gets in there and bites and goes in and drills into the depth and pulls out. So we got our tap. Shoot in, make sure you drills, you know, always spinning to the right, you know, thread righty tighty, lefty loosey. Make sure it's in the drill chuck as hard as it can go. When you enter the hole, you want to be sure it's already spinning, but you know, which also you want to make sure your bit's on where the clutch in here is tight as it'll go, and on the number 1. But go in, enter the hole slowly. As you can see, it's a little tough. You don't want to screw that in past the point to then where it'll strip it out. But we'll try it, stick it in here. Here we go. We got us a threaded hole. We'll do the other sides too, then we can have this thing ready to go up. I've already got it bolted down and everything locked. It's there. We'll just have to get it up. You can see it's getting dark. We ran out of light to get it up on top. So, which we still have to get the hole in the top of the van for the entry cable. And here is our completed 80/20 dual 100-watt solar panel roof rack frame. We got 2 80/20 cutout bars here, which put together with our angled 90 internal brackets, as we see. We got 4 carriage bolts, you may can see under here on each side, that locks the 80/20 essentially to the solar panel, which this panel itself, it comes with these holes already cut in it. Which we see we got our power cable supply lines up at the top. And we got our brackets, came from on Amazon, but I'll have that linked in the description. But as you can understand, it's probably, which is upside down. So we have to flip it over, then we'll get it put on top. See how she do. Dun dun dun. Panels on the top of the van. Look at that. Things lined up. Gonna work good, Clark. Definitely happy with the final product. So you see, it's fitting in here nice and tight here with the fans, in which we also got our little extension block lip here for my secret trick for the whole thing, of being able to sit the awning on. So I haven't showed y'all that yet. Wink, wink. But we'll get down so you can see the profile of the height. I mean, it's no higher than the fan. So I mean, wind noise should be at a minimal. Definitely working good. Little forethought, a little redneck engineering. You got yourself a roof rack, buddy. Willderjess, mechanical engineer, van build. Woo!
Yo voy a cantar esta canción, yo voy a cantar esta canción para mi gente. Con una pasión tan fuerte.